Hi, my name is Christine Owens, and I'm super excited to introduce you to the Tea with the Poet curriculum. This is semester 1 for year 1, and it could either be used just for your own homeschool environment, but it is also created so you can use it in a larger group setting, such as a co-op or even a public school classroom. So this really will work for anything, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run you through some of the basics of it so you don't have to read all the details, or actually even maybe give you more details than what the curriculum gives you. So this is basically designed for elementary to middle school ages, but it can be changed up for high school age by either increasing, the length of discussion you have about the poem. You could put more emphasis on the poetry writing elements. So it's not hard to change it up. And then when it comes to like the research and science projects and such, you are able to just make it more in depth. So rather than using the single page notes that are provided for like filling out information about the research item, you can have the students actually write a full report. So that being said, let's jump into this. I am going to use the first month of the curriculum as an example. But before we jump into that, there is this page here. It tells you all the basics that are going to be found inside this curriculum, the poets that are included. So for year 1, semester 1, you're going to be covering Emily Dickinson, Robert Frost, Walter de la Mare, James Whitcomb Riley, and Robert Louis Stevenson. Okay, you'll be going over different styles of poetry and devices. You'll be doing different styles of music, because every single month you have music, an artist, and a poet. And every single month you are doing a little more about the poet, but then we throw in those additional things to make it fun, exciting, and hands-on. In addition to the art and music, there's always some sort of more in-depth learning thing. So for instance, in October, you're learning about bats and echolocation and things like that. So that being said, you learn a whole huge depth of things, because I am all about cross-curricular learning. And so even though this is poetry based, it goes in all sorts of directions to make poetry more hands-on, exciting, and fun for all ages. So you'll want to make sure that you have a large map or a globe for every single class, because I incorporate geography by learning about where each person is from. So whether it be the poet, the artist, or the musicians, you will be looking for these things on a globe or on a map. Now, when it's a very specific city, sometimes I also include an additional map, so that way they will be able to learn, like, say for instance, where London is, or another area of England, or in a certain state within the United States. It might give you the state map so you can find the very specific city, especially if it's a well-known city, like something that would be important for the kids to know as they grow up. Okay, let's see here. There is an entire supply list. So if your students will be bringing their own supplies, it's really easy to just add that into their list of things to bring for class, whether it be a co-op or a public school. You'll want to have a copy of the Webster's 1828 dictionary, because a lot of these poems are based in the past. Well, they are in the past because they are wonderful classic poems. So the 1828 dictionary is going to tell you what the definition of the word was during the time that it was written. You can try Googling it, but a lot of times you'll end up with a definition that will puzzle you, and it's because the definition has changed over time. So make sure you either get the 1828 dictionary app or have the actual book there with you. I think the physical book is amazing, because then you can also have children take turns trying to look up the word, and then they also incorporate their ability to look things up alphabetically, and it makes them feel really important. Okay, so there is a weekly poem for every single month, and that will be to introduce the children to different poems by the specific poet. So it'll look like this. It'll come in a bigger form, so that way you can show it to the class and have it posted someplace. But it also will come in a 1/4 of a page size, because within the first month you will be making a poetry journal. So if you want to, depending on your class time restraints, because some people of course will only have like 50 minutes, some might have 2 hours to fill. If you have less time, I provide these mini poems, so that way they can be cut out and just glued right into their poetry journal. And if you want as a class filler, then later on they could copy that poem for, copy work or handwriting practice. But if you have a longer amount of time, then I encourage you to have the kids write down the poems, because I do try to keep them relatively short so this is physically possible. Or they can paste it in and write it down some, and then if they don't finish it, say, hey, make sure you have it finished when you come back to class next time, just depending on how you want to use it. Let's see here. So each semester there is a big poem to memorize, and for year 1, semester 1, it's The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. So that poem is provided again in a large form like this, so that way you can always have it posted so the kids can work on memorization. But each month you focus on a single stanza, which this one works out nice and perfectly for a 4-month semester. So if you want to, you of course could print this out so you have a big single semester, but this is provided like this with art, and there is a blank one also, and it also does have a mini one, so that way it can be posted or pasted right into their book, so that way they can practice it. If they are taking their books home each week, they'll have it with them to memorize. If you're not having them take their poetry journals home each week because you want to just hold on to them so they aren't forgotten, then I would suggest making a second copy, and maybe, depending on how many kids are in your class, even a big one for them to tell them to, post it up next to a bed or something, because that's a really great way for kids to memorize things when they're bored trying to go to sleep, is to have something right there in their bed to memorize. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so each month there is something called the Poet's Letter. It will look something similar to this. So it is written as if it's the poet writing to them in their time period. So this one's Emily Dickinson, and it says right up here in the corner, 1880. So that means that's the approximate time period that this letter is written in. So that way when the poet is mentioning things in their life, you know about what time period in their life that it is coming from. A fun thing you can do is print this up on more of like a brown or old school looking paper to make it extra fun, and tuck it into a brown envelope. And then, especially for littler kids, be like, oh, I got a letter from a poet that I have to read to you. And what's fun about this is you do learn about the poet. A lot of times I'll include like a little snippet from one of their poems as if they're like working on it right then. And another fun thing, I don't even bring this up, but a fun thing that you could do is have the kids write a little bit in their poetry journal as if they're asking a question to the poet. You could use the journal for however you want. This is a fun thing that just popped into my head. Okay, let's see here. Oh, so each month there is also, let's see here, if I can find it. Oh, it looks like I didn't print it. There is something called the Poet's Card. So it's a little card about this big, and it has a picture of the poet and some facts about them on the back. So I encourage you each month to give that to the child. Make them, they're made so you can just fold them right in half and make them into like a nice little like collector's card. So in the journal, an idea I had is you could put an envelope in there so they have a spot where they could collect their poet's cards. And then each month there is also a recipe. So I encourage at the end of each month, you could have a poetry tea time and have a yummy snack. And so those recipe cards are there so the kids can also collect the recipe cards if you want, and have all these yummy recipes that they can try and do at home once they've tried them in class. So that is another fun idea. Let's see here. Oh, when it comes to the poetry tea time, depending on the length of your class, I put enough inside each week where there is a hands-on activity every single week to include the last week. I think except for maybe September, since it's the first month. But it's gonna be up to you to decide what you have time for. So if you really wanna put the focus on like the poetry and tea time thing, then you might need to choose some of the activities to forego, so that way you have time for your poetry tea time. So for instance, October, you have a week where you can hand out research project papers to the kids to learn about different kinds of bats. And then on that fourth week, they come back and they can present on them. If you want to do that and you only have an hour-long class, you might have to skip the tea time for October. Or you could choose to take your bat research and have each kid put their sheets out. You know, if you have the older, like the middle school age kids, and you could have your poetry time with your tea, and then they can have their snack while they go around and look at everybody's different presentation papers. So you can choose to do it different ways. You are always the one in charge. You get to choose how you all use all this. I'm just trying to provide all the magic so that way you can make it all happen as easy as possible. So just keep class time in mind, because sometimes on that fourth week, you might have things that roll over. So if you don't want to do the research thing, then you don't hand them out. So just make sure you look over the month to decide by week 4 what it is or what you don't want to do. Plus there's also the possibility that you end up with a 5th week. And so it all turns out just fine. So just be aware of your class length and how many weeks are in the month and where things are gonna land, because each one has 4 weeks and you can easily spread it out to a 5th week. There is plenty of content. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, so if there's a week, say for instance, you have crazy busy life and there's another week that has a simpler lesson, they don't necessarily have to be done in the same exact order. I would definitely though make sure you stick with introducing the poet on the first week. But maybe the project that week, you're like, I don't want to do that. That's too involved this week. Most of this you can move around in any order you want, and that's totally fine. It will still all work with each other. Let's see. And then sometimes throughout this, there will be clickable links. There are videos that have been included. So for instance, I know not everybody out there is an artist. So in October, there are links for learning how to draw bats. If you happen to be awesome in art, then you can teach it to them. I include it though, just in case there's areas that you might not have much knowledge in, to make the class easier for you and you feel like they're getting the best education possible. For music, there's always links for the music, but there might also be another one saved for how the violin sounds, or maybe to watch people dance to a certain song. So that is up to you which links you want to use, or if you don't want to use any of them at all. I know a lot of people are moving away from tech, but I know some people love using YouTube. So they are there for you to use at your discretion. Obviously listening to music, that's a bit important. So that link is an important link, but a lot of the other ones are supplemental. And every single time you see like a bold word for here, H-E-R-E, that's gonna be a link. So make sure you pay attention to that. For every single month, there is a teacher prep sheet. On the teacher prep sheet is gonna tell you all the different things that you need to print. And for instance, some things you'll need a copy for every single student, or some you'll only need 1 copy for the entire class. So for instance, the posters of the poems, the poet, musicians, and artists, like for instance, this is the Emily Dickinson poster, okay, so that we can show the students what she looks like. Obviously, you just need 1 of those. You don't need a whole collection of them. for every single student, because they're going to get their poets card in week 2. So that is just so you have a picture to put up every single week so the children can start really remembering what the poet looks like. There is also one for the artist, and there's also one for the musician on the weeks that they are presented. So by the end of the month, you would have 3 different posters that you could have displayed. And of course, you can quiz the kids and be like, oh, do you remember who this is? Do you remember what they did? And test them out on their comprehension of the things that they've learned. So make sure you pay attention to that. Obviously, the mini poem cards and such will be needed, but there's a lot of things that will be just for you. For instance, like a copy of an Aesop fable to read to the kids. And let's see here, copy worksheets are included in every single one. They have the copy work on the left, and then on the right there's always like a piece of art where they can either add something or color it. I do this for those children who might either be really fast at doing the copy work and then other kids are still working on it, or vice versa, where it might be really challenging for a child, especially if you have really little ones. Then maybe you can encourage those children and be like, hey, can you write, pick 1 or 2 words out of it, and then they can color. Or they can just color it. That's totally up to you. But that is how the copy worksheet is designed to make it more enjoyable. Let's see here. Oh, every single month for the poetry tea time section, there will be an extra sheet with multiple poems on it by the poet. So that way you can read the poems that you've read that month, so they can hear them again. And then there's another additional 3 to 5 poems for you to introduce them to other poems by that poet. And of course, you can choose if you're going to do discussion with the kids on those poems. And of course, I always encourage, what was your favorite part? What do you think? Were the words you didn't know? So that way you always get the most you can out of the poetry. And then there is a supply list here. These are the different things you will need for that month to run the classes. If there's something that needs to be purchased, like one month, one of the recipes uses lavender, lavender blossoms for the recipe, then it will say buy, so that way unless you happen to have a lavender farm or you're a person who collects lavender, most people will need to buy that. So that is there, so it really brings it to your attention. Let's see here, other things. For each month, there will be a sheet like this, okay? So it tells you who the poet is going to be, what activities are included. So before you even get to the supply list and all that, this is gonna be there, so that way you can kind of get an idea. So for instance, in September, it just tells you, you're gonna work on memorizing the Road Not Taken, you're gonna recite the poem of the week, you're gonna make your poetry journal, you're gonna learn about Earth, Wind, and Fire during this month, which is the music. You're gonna learn how to write slant rhyme or rhyming depending on the age of the child. So for instance, this one, it tells you when you get to that week, like, hey, if you have kids who still need to learn normal rhyme, then here's a lesson for them. And if you have kids who already understand rhyme, or the majority of the class does, then you can learn about slant rhyme. So this is something like, for instance, that would be for like middle school to high schoolers if you're gonna do slant rhyme. So it tells you that. And then it tells you what you're gonna be looking for: France, Massachusetts, and Illinois on the map. You're going to paint or draw using a live model. So it's just giving you a rundown of all the things that you're gonna be doing that month. Okay, then it has these fun little did you know facts about the 3 different people you're gonna be learning about. So those are there, if you want a time filler, if maybe you just wanna read through it so you know a couple more facts that you can tell the kids like throughout the class. And there's only 3 per person. So it's really simple, just a little additional information or fun facts about them. And then on the very bottom, you've got topics covered. So if parents are wanting to know, like, okay, well, at co-op, what are my kids gonna be learning? Or if you have a public school classroom, it tells you right there what cross-curricular type things they will be learning that month if you do all the activities. Or if you're just a homeschooling family using this, then you know where you can check off some of those boxes if you did science or, art appreciation, creative writing, history, ancient literature, life skills, classical literature. So it just does that for you. So it makes it simple for you to keep track of what the kids are learning. Let's see here, what else? And then on top of all that, you have for each week, it tells you, this is what you would use like on classroom day. It kind of goes step by step, everything you need to do, read the poet's letter, find Massachusetts on the map, and then find Amherst, because this one includes the smaller map for you to look at. Recite, I ate and drank the precious words, lead a discussion about the poem, make a poetry journal, draw a picture in your journal, read all of The Road Not Taken, and then point out the poem's rhyme scheme, learn the parts of poetry, and then challenge children to memorize a poem for the end of the month. So at the end of each week, it always encourages the kids, like if they want to be memorizing more poetry, or maybe the family is already doing poetry at home, or maybe the child's really into poetry. If a child wants to spend the time to memorize a poem, then you can reward them at the end of the month, and then they have a time that they can share a poem. You could even open it up to, depending on your size of your class, to children that want to bring in a poem that they want to share. And this just makes the kids part of it. It makes them feel like they're contributing to the class. And some of those eager beavers that just love to show off, it's just like the perfect time. So if every week they're like, oh, can I do this? And you're like, oh, that's on the 4th week. And you have a time that you can tell them that they can share something with the class. Okay. And then there's optional, sometimes I'll have an optional activity. So for this one, it's create hand motions for the children to go with the poem. So whether it be The Road Not Taken or, what was this one? Oh, I ate and drank the precious words. So it's fun, especially for littler kids. It's really fun to do hand motions. And older kids, it actually really helps memorization. So if you have a kid who's having trouble, encourage them to make hand motions to go along with the poem, even on their own at home if they want to, because it will help them visualize the poem, and it's almost like a muscle memory thing that helps them out. Okay. For each poem, this is the part that I think is really important, especially if you're doing this class and you don't feel really secure about diving into poetry. This leads you through a discussion, okay, for every single week. So it's going to tell you the steps of doing even just the poetry part. Read the poem, ask if there are any words they don't understand, look up the definition of the words, which most likely will be one of these words. So I include the definitions right there, so you don't have to go looking them up. Now, if they ask about another word, then you might have to look it up if you don't know the definition, or use your 1828 dictionary, okay? And then there's gonna be some discussion questions, okay? So there'll be a question, and then on the answers, it'll either tell you, if there is an exact answer, it will tell you what the exact answer is. But if there isn't, it will give suggestions on what answers children may be giving for an answer to that question. Some are really objective. So for instance, in November, there's how can you show gratitude? Okay, you might have to tell them what gratitude is, but that's going to be really open. There really is no wrong answer to showing gratitude, unless someone's being extra silly and says really ridiculous things. But, saying thank you, writing a thank you note, doing something nice for a person. These are all just things that come out of the child's head. So many different things. And then some of the poems have a spot where you can actually go listen to the poem with visuals. And then I think that's most of what I had to share with you. So I'm super excited that you want to do poetry with your family or your co-op class or your public school classroom. It is a really great way to help them become more confident when it comes to reading classic literature. It's going to help them build up a really rich vocabulary, because they're going to learn so many words that others aren't learning. So bravo to you for wanting to hold this class, to use this curriculum. If you have any questions or suggestions, of course, you can leave a comment below. If this video you feel was valuable and helped you get ready for the class, make sure you subscribe and like it, because I have all sorts of different things that come out about poetry. And on that, I think that's everything. So good luck, have fun. Oh, one thing, if you're gonna do tea, make sure to check with parents what teas are okay for their children to drink. Some people do not want their children drinking, black tea, green tea, caffeinated teas. So make sure if you're going to do tea time, either just stick strictly with herbal teas, or first do a survey amongst the parents what's okay with them. So that way, we don't want to upset parents giving their kids things they don't want them consuming. So on that note, I'm super excited for you. Glad you're going to give this a try, and be looking for additional semesters coming up, because I'm going to probably have at least 2 years worth of this curriculum coming out in the future. So have fun, good luck, and read more poetry.